on. Let's fuel up. You got the beer. I got the
I got the
coffee.
beer, and I've already had a few. I've like limbered up a little bit, so I've got one here that's not beer. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. Our first foray into the 2010s.
That's a good way to start it. I like that. Yes, this
Nice.
is our first foray into the 20. I guess it's weird calling it the 2010s, but I guess that's what it would be.
Yeah.
But from 2010 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And hi, Cranked and Ranked. That's the name of this show. Where
That is what we're called.
we rank band discographies, and then other episodes we do other shit like this one, where we choose a year and we rank our top 10 favorite albums from that year.
Yes.
Yeah, we did 2000, right?
Yes.
And have we done any other?
No. No.
So
We've. So after this we need to at some point do a 2020 or 2020s year.
or we just head back and start filling in the gaps with the 70s, 80s, and 90s that we
Oh,
have
for
left.
oh for sure. I just think it's good to really get a start on you know cutting through these years because it's an interesting angle because we've made a name for ourselves being the 80s 90s dudes with a little bit of 70s sprinkled in as well,
Yeah.
but it's interesting to hear our perspective on
Well,
eras that maybe aren't necessarily our thing overall compared to other stuff, but at the same time it gives us a cool perspective, a little angle on it.
it'll be interesting to do anything from 2020 on because I've been doing my own top 10 videos every single year. And so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see, like, has that changed, in the few years? Because all the time I discover shit that I didn't know about the previous year. And then I go, oh, well, that would have definitely been in my top 10. So
Yeah.
that would be interesting to revisit. But this one, 2015, I wasn't doing Old Head at the time.
Yeah.
It's a very weird year because this was smack dab in the middle of a really sort of low period for me. Just because I had separated from my kid's mom and had moved into this like tiny little fucking apartment, which is a real like a wake up call when you go from living in a house with several bedrooms and a nice living room and a front and backyard, and then all of a sudden you're in this little closet of a apartment, and it was just a really weird time for me. But I got out of it. So keep that in mind, folks. If you're having a low time in your life and you think things are just shitty and they're always going to be shitty, just kind of hold on because it can get better. Anyway, I had
Yeah.
somebody on the last episode gave us some kudos for opening up about our family and dealing with like dementia and shit like that.
Yeah.
And we don't even plan to do those kind of things. They just naturally come up because I think we're both, very sensitive people.
We're just really cool.
Yeah. And so I think eventually, those kind of things come out because we're just those kind of people. Like, we may like aggressive, crazy, fucking annoying music, but, we have good hearts at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it was a weird time because there hasn't been a year since the late '80s that music wasn't ridiculously important to me. So even at my worst, I was still music was my life, and I was listening to a lot of stuff, and anyway, so it was an interesting time. So for 2015, you would have been 17 years old?
17, yeah. Yeah. Well, so my birthday is kind of in the middle of the year. So my birthday is in May. So it's kind of like about halfway through. I don't know. It's pretty cool because like my birthday is really far from Christmas. So like I know some people whose birthday is around Christmas, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Man, I wish I had your setup." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it was complete luck, but yeah, it's pretty well spaced. I'm not gonna lie." Anyway, but yeah, in terms of 2015 was a year of a well needed change for me. I'd already done my like 5 years of secondary school, and I decided to stay on for sixth form, which is like the last 2 years of high school for you guys.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can either do sixth form or do college. Now, I did 1 year of sixth form, fucking hated it, and decided this ain't for me. I'm gonna just start again and do 2 more years at Truro College.
And so
I ended up
when that
really
happens,
liking it.
when you do sixth form, like, I don't know if it works the same way over here. Do sixth form classes, does that count towards like a university degree, or is it
Yeah.
just, oh, okay.
Yeah, so in the UK, the last 2 years, or really the last 2 years of secondary school, so year 10 and 11, the way it's split up, so you've got like fucking primary school over here. You start at 4, go right through to the age of 11, and then right at 11, we don't do middle school here. We have primary and secondary. So you pretty much go all the way up to 11. You think you're the shit, and then immediately you're in, a form room with 18-year-olds again, and you're like, man, what the fuck? This is wrong. But ultimately, I remember, I mean, I had a hard time in secondary school. I didn't like it very much. So, but I was kind of coerced into a lot of stuff. I can remember, like, one of my GCSE was French. French was my worst subject, but they said, oh, you got really good marks on this thing. Sure you don't want to learn a language? And it was like, well, I guess I fluked it, but there's this new thing they're bringing out called the e-baccalaureate. Turned out to be bullshit, and it got scrapped. So I spent 2 years faffing about with a subject I didn't do well at nor care about.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, though, in recent times I have been looking at learning Italian with Duolingo. That's not sponsored. Don't. Yeah. But anyway,
I like Duolingo. She's like a great singer. Isn't that who that is?
yeah. It's funnily enough, she's a green owl under all that.
Interesting.
But
So,
yeah, it's
like logistic, not logistically, but geographically speaking, what's the closest like other language to you guys? Like for us, it would be Spanish because we're right next to Mexico. Like, are you closer to Italy or to
we're so our closest country is France. France.
Okay.
I mean France, or I mean I guess we have Ireland, but Ireland for the most part speak English anyway. So
Yeah. Is there an Irish language? I thought they spoke English.
I'm sure there's like other language. I mean, you got all the old Celtic languages. There's a Welsh.
Yeah.
There's a Welsh language. There's I mean, I
You have to remember, I'm American. I don't know any of this
yeah.
shit.
I mean, to be fair, some of the shit in this country for its size is so old. It's like the funniest shit is going on TikTok and like younger people from America not believing you when you say your house was born in like the 16th century. It's like, no, it has been here all that time.
Yeah.
It was just built with stone and it just fucking lasted this long. But like, so some of the, I mean, some of the stuff in this country just dates back so long that like you can do like a 2-hour car journey and the fucking accent has changed 30 times.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like considering the size of this country compared to something like Texas, which, you can fit Britain into Texas 5 times alone, let alone all the other states.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like, to think how much history there has to be in a country for there to be so many accents and such little landmass.
Yeah.
But
and we've never. I mean, over here, like we've got plenty of historical places here, but
for sure.
But we just tear shit down all the time, and I think it's because we know that if we really wanted to wind the clock back, it would be things were getting older and older, and then all of a sudden we're in Europe.
Yeah.
It's like because it only goes so far back, guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's America is such a young country by comparison. It's in terms of as it stands now.
Yeah.
It's always been there, and
Well,
there were
as a country, it hasn't always been there, but
no,
yes.
no, but like as land, yeah,
Yeah.
to the natives.
Yeah, it just reminds me of that Eddie Izzard bit where he talks about having everyone in England has a castle each. And it's like when they came over here and built Euro Disney, they're like, you better make them bigger. They actually have got them over here. It's like over in America, you tear your history down. I saw somebody say something to the effect of, we've restored this building to what it looked like over 50 years ago. Oh, surely not. No one was alive then. But it's kind of what it's like. Like the oldest thing around here I can think of is the fucking Alamo. Which, funny enough, at the Alamo now, you can go see Pee-wee's bike.
Wow, cool.
Because I'm assuming you've seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, correct? So
I have only seen bits of Pee-wee's Adventure. I am way behind on Pee-wee lore.
Oh, okay.
I need to catch up big time.
That's really the only one to really. But the whole
What's
premise
the one
of,
that has a Twisted Sister cameo in it?
That's the same one, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Cool.
The whole premise is that he has this really cool, nifty bike that gets stolen, and this fraud of a psychic tells him it's in the basement of the Alamo. But there is no basement in the Alamo. So he basically travels the country to go to the Alamo only to find out that his bike isn't there. But now it is. You can go to the Alamo and
that's awesome.
You can see Pee-wee's bike. Anyway.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. We'll try to stay a little more on task this time because as much as some people really love our long-winded stuff, 3 hours for Dawkins is a bit of an overkill.
that was amazing. Honestly, the fact that neither of us really had ever talked much about Dawkins, and then the Dawkins episode becomes one of our longest episodes.
Yeah, and we stayed. We had tangents, but we talked a lot about Dawkins on that episode.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fascinating. But we're literally moving into the era of bad Dawkins albums, 2015. I don't even know if they had an album in 2015, but I'm sure I didn't like it.
They had one in 2012, and they had yet to have one in 2023. But yeah, that is firmly planted in the era of you don't like Dawkins albums.
Yeah, I don't. But my top 10 is interesting because there's only one in here for sure that I know we're going to both have in our top 10. There might be two or three, one for sure. So And I thought to myself, oh, it's going to be so hard to get together a top 10. No, I had to fucking leave like at least 5 or 6 other albums out to whittle it down to 10. So
yeah, that's the thing with me is that like with these later years, I don't have as many yet, but remember, I'm playing about 20 years of catch up to you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to my list, it's usually like, do I like 10 albums from 2015? And I know there's always new stuff to discover.
Yeah.
And
but you found 10 though, right?
I found 10 because they're albums I remember listening to around that time, and I listened to them back. And I put them in some sort of an order that made sense to me. But what I came up with was pretty interesting because this is kind of a year where things began to expand between just rock. There's some stuff in here that's not, but it's still very me, and we'll get to why.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, let's fucking start. I'm fascinated to find out because I feel like we're going to kind of cover a lot of ground here. So let's start it off as usual with Eddie Sparxx and his number 10 album from 2015.
Okay, my number 10 2015 album is Borderline by Duet. And that is
no idea what that is.
And I even have a cassette of it here somewhere. It's a synthwave album.
Okay.
But it's on the chiller side. So it's not like, you're got it. But it's more like the sort of stuff that you would put on in a Miami Vice episode, like
what? I have to look. I'm trying to look it up. Keep talking.
So the artist is Duet. So it's Duett, and the album is called Borderline, and it's got kind of a geometric
I see it.
seaside
Okay.
sunset sort of vibe going on.
Duet from London.
Yeah. It's cool. It's I'm pretty sure it's like 11 tracks or something. Let me have a look here. I got the Bandcamp.
On
13,
Bandcamp it says
sorry.
13 tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, there's so many tracks on here. There's only a couple that have vocals from a dude called Stuart Lockwood, but
Okay.
for the most part, it's just really good, vibey instrumental synthwave. That like it's a go-to sunny day beach listen. If you want to feel like you're in Miami Vice for a little bit,
Yeah.
it's something I go to, and I actually have a cassette of it.
And they're still kicking it. They have a new album came out this year.
Yeah, to be fair, I need to do a little bit of a synthwave catch up because I hit the synthwave train hard for about 4 years and then got really into like heavy stuff again. And for me, things come around in circles. I never ever really grow out of anything so much as it becomes assimilated into the greater Borg of things that I listen to. And it's a very circular thing, you know? And I find that it grows over time. Like, you know, what is it? Between the years of about 2014 and 2018, there was like a growing amount of, okay, I really like grunge, but I really like hair metal. But I like grunge, but I really like hair metal.
Yeah.
I like grunge, really like hair metal. And then all of a sudden something happened where it was like, oh yeah, really like grunge. And then there's this like flip flop for me between everything where everything kind of comes in phases, but it's never just once. It's always depending on what vibe I'm feeling at an era in my life.
It's interesting when you're that kind of music fan because I have that too, where I feel like, you know, I'm a planet and there's like certain bands and genres that are in close orbit with me. So
We have rings.
But then there's other things that are kind of further out of orbit that will come into orbit, and then I'll be super fixated on this for a little while, and then it'll go away, and time will pass, and it'll come back around again. Like a good example for that is like Iron Maiden, because I like Iron Maiden, but I don't always want to listen to Iron Maiden. But there was a short period where like I kept wanting to hear Iron Maiden, and I feel like that's going to come around again. Whereas, like, you know, you go to a band like Nirvana or Metallica, they're like right in my orbit and they're constantly there. So
dude, when you say Iron Maiden, I immediately think of summer of 2014. I just decided it's time to do a Maiden deep dive, and I just listened to nothing but Maiden for like a month. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's really cool because like this is a year I remember. You know, this is the first time we've done one of these episodes where, you know, I mean, I know we've done 1990. Yeah, I know we've done 2000 and 1999, but like I was barely a toddler at that point. One of those, I was a straight up baby. So
I don't. If we did, when we did, you know, when we do early '80s, I don't remember those times very much. It's just pretty random.
Yeah, and then funnily enough, when we do most of the '70s episodes, we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, any of the '70s episodes, because at '79 I was 2. I have no memories from being 2 at all. So
that's true. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, like I say, it's a cool synthwave album that's on the chiller side. You're not going to get anything like full on like Perturbator or Mitch Murder style Kung Fury soundtrack on here.
Yeah.
But what you are going to get is like just a kind of a chill out. I'm on a speedboat with the most stunning woman you've ever seen. Just you know, that sort of thing. Nice. So, bada boom, bada bing. That's my number 10.
All right, cool. Well, my number 10 is one that will probably be the same thing for you. You won't know who this is. And I put this last simply because it's technically an EP, but
okay.
It's the last release from a band called Fight Amp or Fight Amputation. That's what they usually go by, Fight Amp. But this is the last album they put out, which is called Constantly Off. And these guys were so great, and I'm bummed that they're not around anymore because they were a really great sort of combo of like metal and sludge and hardcore like punkiness, kind of all melded together and very riffy and very noisy. But yeah, it's kind of like, a noise rock side of things, but it tips towards the people that are into metal because it is very big and riffy. But
Cool.
but it's only 6 songs and it's like 19 minutes long. But it wasn't released as an EP. Like when they brought it out, it wasn't. It was just like, this is our last album. It just happens to be 6 songs, 19 minutes long.
Yeah.
But yeah, this band was great. If you guys are into like sludge metal or just that noise rock, heavy noise rock type stuff, and you don't know Fight Amp, check them out. You could just start here and go backwards. Yeah, it's a fucking great energetic EP. And honestly, sometimes I really love having albums like this that you put on, and it's literally just. It's kind of like their Rain and Blood because it's just straight up unrelenting for 19 minutes, and then that's it. The band is done. So anyway, that's my number 10. Fight Amputation or Fight Amp, Constantly Off. It's a banger.
Cool. So my number nine. I need to check that out because that sounds up my street.
Oh yeah, no, you'd be into it. It's riff central.
Yeah,
it's great. It's very it's bordering on Melvin's like the heavier Melvin stuff.
Yeah, it's got my language.
It's got a lot of that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, on a different end of the spectrum to that, my number 9 is Golgotha by Wasp.
Okay, I don't think I've heard this album at all.
So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised listening back to this. It's a pretty damn good Wasp sounding album, in 2015. Now I haven't listened to all of Wasp's albums, but I've heard the first 5 and this. But Wasp really were the gateway, maybe not the gateway, but the moment the 80s metal in the like more LA hair metal vein. Not saying that Wasp are necessarily hair metal, they're more like heavy metal but hair metal adjacent.
Yeah.
Because they had their moments, but they've also got stuff that's like way heavier than that as well. So I've always feel like it's a disservice to call them just a glam metal band or anything like that, because they've got a harder edge than all of those bands. And
they bordered on the shock rock side of things too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or I guess I don't know if they still do or not. I don't know if they still do the shock rock type shit at their shows, but
they were doing that for a while. And I know in the 90s they got even edgier with it at one point, especially in the late 90s. But like a huge thing for me is like, elephant in the room. The big thing that bummed me out about Wasp in the last few years is the whole dropping the Trump banners at the fucking show. It was like,
yeah, to be fair, if I go to a rock show and you drop a banner of any politician, I'm gonna be like, this is a fucking bummer.
Yeah. Especially
unless it has a bullseye painted on it or something like that, then we're cool. Or what do you call is there a name for the red slash? Is there an actual name for that? Like Ghostbusters, no ghosts. No politician.
Yeah, I think it's just the no sign.
No sign. Anyway, yeah.
I don't know. It's just when I saw that, I found myself feel like really grossed out. I was like, I'm here to watch you, like, electrocute some like dude on stage. I'm not here to throw
meat out to the crowd.
Yeah. Do that. But anyway, like I say, I'm getting off topic here. My main thing is that the Wasp sound is very much here, and it sounds like Wasp doing Wasp, and they're doing a good modern version of it here. I don't find myself thinking that they're, like a lot of other bands in their vein, like, for example, we were talking about Dokken, where after a certain point it felt like they were trying to fit in. Wasp do have their own personality, and have always kept that.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, you know, they are edgier, they are darker, they've got that grit to them that allows them to go a little darker. But I just think that they were not punished in a way that a lot of their peers were in the 21st century. I just think that they sound like they have more identity than a lot of the other bands in their scene
I have to admit, from a perspective of somebody like me, where back in that point, even let's say 2015, where I was listening to a lot of metal and a lot of older, stuff from the 80s, and I would come in contact with people who like were quote unquote into the cool stuff, so they weren't into a lot of that shit. Wasp was still considered one of the cool bands. Like those are like, nobody talked shit about Wasp. And they seem to transition nicely into kind of the same way that like David Lee Roth era Van Halen, like people don't talk shit about that really. It's kind of included in the cool club.
Yeah. I never heard people shit talking Wasp. And the cool thing is, like, despite what his political, takes are or anything like that, Blackie Lawless has a cool fucking voice, and the way it works in their music fucking rules. And to be honest, he's never really lost that grit on the albums, as far as I'm aware. I don't know I haven't seen any live footage of Wasp in a long time up until recently, and I don't think they've put an album out since this, apart from like what is Re-Idolized? I know there's the Crimson Idol, but like, what is Re-Idolized? Is that
Sounds like they re-recorded the album?
Is that a re-recorded version? Let me look it up. Re-Idolized, because I know this album really is overall. This album was, what is it? Someone's put here. It's called Wasp Re-Idolized. The soundtrack to the Crimson Idol, like, it's already an album.
The soundtrack to an album?
Yeah. It's just re-recorded. Yeah. See, immediately when an album is considered your magnum opus, you don't need to do it again. Like, I don't want Metallica to re-record Ride the Lightning. It's already there.
No, Dave Mustaine's going to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to give him some credit for that, because he could very well have pulled a mechanics and just taken the riffs that he wrote for Ride the Lightning and written basically put together his own song and been like, this is my version. But as far as I know, he's recording the Metallica song, because like, you have to remember the Metallica song, like Dave's song was not Ride the Lightning, and his riffs are like maybe half the song, but really when you boil it down to it, it's like 3 riffs. But there's Dave on that song, but he could have gone at it a different way. But the fact that it appears he's going to do a faithful cover of that song, I'm like, that's a nice kind of full circle self-aware moment, really.
For
Dave.
I really hope this is the full circle, the therapy finally worked moment.
If you hear that new fucking single, I don't know about that. I'm not doing well right now as a Megadeth fan.
Okay, I was going to say that the funniest thing I've seen in relation to that is that someone made a TikTok, and it's just a bunch of stock. It's that song, but it's a bunch of stock photos of a bully shoving nerds into lockers.
I saw that.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't heard it, it's called "I Don't Care." It's the newest.
I don't care. They won't obey.
And it's really cheesy. Even
and
for
in a way, I kind of love it. There's something about me where I find myself thinking, do you know what? It's dumb fun.
But you know me, and one of my number one pet peeves is when somebody writes what's supposed to be a fuck you song and all of the lyrics are vague as fuck.
Yeah.
So literally any douchebag can now co-opt that song and be like, yeah, Dave doesn't like black people either. I don't care about black people.
Yeah, I got that too.
And I know that he wrote it that way specifically because he's just like, oh, look, and anybody can take this and say I don't care. And I'm like, well, that is lazy songwriting, and it's just whatever. But we don't need to talk about Dave.
I will say this as a huge Megadeth fan. Like, Megadeth are in my top 5 of all time.
Yeah.
Hearing Dave say I don't care feels disingenuous because
he cares.
Dave has consistently shown that he cares a lot, about lots of things. A big one being the Metallica thing.
Yeah.
But the main thing I will say is that Dave has done overwhelmingly positive things for the metal scene and the metal community.
Yeah, I've said it, and whenever I talk about this album, I can always bring up that they're a very important band to me, and I pre-ordered this album. Even if I don't like it, I want to own it because if this is the last thing they do, they're a really important band in my life. So I'm going to give it, its respect, and I'll probably enjoy things about it, which is like most of the recent Megadeth albums, where even if I didn't like the album that much, there are things about it that I liked, but
Yeah, well, with that,
can I just for a second? I know we'll get back on track in a second.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I would like to go from talking about one Dave to another Dave, because this is a very important Dave that I want to talk about right now. David Coverdale announced his retirement. I don't know if you saw that recently.
Yes. Yep.
And that made me think the next time we have a slot in the schedule for one of those kind of bands, let's fucking do Whitesnake.
Yes.
I think now is the perfect time. If Dave's hanging it up, David, his name is David. If he hangs it up, like he's been at it since early 70s or late 60s. Like I don't remember when his first, because he joined Deep Purple.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Deep Purple wasn't his first band. So that had to have been early 70s when he joined Deep Purple. Because I think Burn was the first David Coverdale Deep Purple album, which I love. Love that album.
So Coverdale started his career performing with local bands Vintage 67, 1966 to 68, the Government, 1968 to 1972, and Fabulosa Brothers, 1972 to 73. By 73, he had left art college and was successfully working as a singing salesman until he saw an article, Melody Maker.
Singing salesman?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
God damn,
I wish the internet existed back then so we could see David Coverdale sing. What is he selling, vacuum cleaners or what the fuck?
Dude, he's a fucking legend. I'm so glad that I got to see Whitesnake live before all this. But until he saw an article in Melody Maker that said Deep Purple was looking for a singer to replace Ian Gillan. But yeah, it's like 1973 he joined Deep Purple. But man, Dude, David Coverdale.
That's a fucking career because Deep Purple, Whitesnake, Coverdale Page, he did a lot of really cool shit. And anyway, so that's why I'm saying once he announced that, I go, oh, we gotta talk about Whitesnake, because that's a band that I don't really know any of their original stuff. Like back when Here I Go Again had the line was like a hobo or some shit like that.
Yeah, like a hobo. I was born to walk alone.
Yeah,
there's a better word for that.
Yeah, hobo. Yeah. Come on, that's also not a very good rock and roll word. Hobo.
But do you know something that's been cracking me up recently? Is that he's just on Twitter all the time, posting the most dad joke stuff, funny, and it's harmless. It's just funny.
Yeah.
It's just funny shit. And I think he shared something recently. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it up
in a second, folks. We got David Coverdale to talk about.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Let me look it up. Fuck, it signed me out. I can't remember my passcode.
Oh
Anyway,
shit, it was great.
anyway, he was posting a bunch of stuff of like, vans of businesses with their doors slid open.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it said funny stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like one of them said penis, and the other ones was like anal servicing or something. It's just funny, funny as shit. Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, it's great.
so we'll get around to Whitesnake because I think it's timely, and I like that band, so it'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
Were you done with your number 9, which was Wasp?
Yes, I am. I'm done with number 9.
All right, cool. My number 9 is Archangel from Soulfly.
Ooh.
And this is an interesting album because I think the two albums that kind of, well, especially the album before it, which is Savages, I think is much better than this. And then I think Ritual is after this. I don't know. I just know that this one, it's a very enjoyable album, and the thing I like about it is that he leans into synthesizers. There's a lot of like synth in a lot of these songs. My only problem with this album is it feels disjointed. It kind of feels all over the place. Like it's not. It never flowed very well for me. And to be honest, like, starting off with the song title "We Sold Our Souls to Metal" is kind of cheeseball. But when Max does it, it's kind of endearing, and I dig it. But there's not a Soulfly album that I don't like. There's just some that I like less than others, and this one was still in that sort of middle ground where I still think he was kind of fudging with the ideas of like, well, what is Soulfly? Because they weren't as groovy and new metally as they were before. And then they had incorporated more like sort of technical extreme metal kind of things in some of the songs. But this one, the synthesizer stuff is kind of the running theme that kind of ties everything together. But it really does feel kind of all over the place. But the album cover is fucking cool as shit. And this one has a bonus track of the Napalm Death song "You Suffer," which I'm always just like, what? Why even record that?
Nice. I love that they did though.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those weird ones where like I can understand covering it live because like it doesn't take any time whatsoever to play. But I'm assuming they probably recorded it on the tail end of something else, because why would you set up an entire studio? Are you ready? All right. So everybody have a good night. Thanks for everything. Engineer, you did a great job setting everything up for 3 hours, but so we could record 1 second of music. Anyway, that's my number 9, Archangel from Soulfly.
Dude, did I ever tell you about that grindcore EP I made just to make myself laugh?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, I was what was it? It was like the middle of the pandemic, and I'll have to send it to you at some point because it is like just 1 minute long MP3 file of 4 tracks, and I purposefully detuned the guitar to be horribly out of tune.
Yeah.
All of the drums are like horrendously produced. And most of it is just me under a pillow in my front room growling into my phone speaker. And what is it? I can't remember what the name was, but I think I just picked a name at random. That's it. The song titles are... I don't want to get this. What is it? Henry's a fucking cunt. Then there's nonce. Then there's I have coronavirus and I like to cough on elderly people. And then right at the end, there's a cover of Iron Man by Black Sabbath, but it's just me going, I am Iron Man. Bum, 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 bum. And that's the whole song.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'll have to send it to you at some point because I was
for damn sure
drunk.
People out there are going to want to hear it too. So
yeah, dude, it was one of those times during the pandemic I had nothing better to do. Everybody had gone to bed and I had a guitar, my laptop, and I was just blasted drunk. And I just thought I could make a grindcore album in about 10 minutes.
yeah.
Speaking
That's
of
awesome.
grindcore, this is an excellent segue.
Okay.
My number 8 is Napalm Death, Apex Predator, Easy Meat.
Nice. This one is on my list, but it is higher up.
It's fucking great. And the only reason it's not higher on the list is because I haven't spent as much time with it as the other albums on this list, because this one is a later listen as opposed to some of the other albums here. However, that being said, this is one of those times where I think to myself, where the fuck was I?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was late to the Napalm Death party, and in a way, it's kind of cool to discover this much killer shit this late in the game. You know, considering that for the last 5 years we have been absolutely blasting through band discographies at a rate of knots. So it's cool to see something, or it's cool to hear something that you haven't heard before. And it's this good, and it's just 40 straight minutes of unrelenting brutality that Napalm Death are known for. And I think I had it quite low on my Napalm Death list, but honestly, Napalm Death's discography is so fucking good that there's that much good shit that finding anywhere to go lower, and honestly, on any day of the week, this will probably rise up a bit. But I was incredibly impressed with Napalm Death's entire discography. So who's to say that could be a Crankdom revisited 5 years down the line?
Napalm Death is one of those bands for me where my current favorite Napalm Death album is the one I'm listening to right now. Doesn't matter which one it is. You put it on, I'm going to be like, God, this is fucking good, right?
Dude, for me, it's still between Harmony Corruption and Utopia Banished, but those,
both great.
like, just Napalm Death in general, just fucking. I mean, I've got a poster of them, just behind the crash and splash symbol back there. They're probably obscured a little bit.
Yeah, I can't really. Well, I mean, my eyes aren't good anyway, but yeah,
they're sandwiched between a poster of Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Living Color, and Extreme, which is a very diverse group of things. All united by one thing: 80s metal.
United by Eddie Sparxx.
Yes. What people don't know is actually the entire universe is held together by this room.
You know what? That makes sense.
It's a very delicate balance in here. I have to monitor it fucking constantly. It's a real pain in the ass. But the fabric of time and space is held together with this. And honestly, with the way things are going, I'm tempted to just throw it out of whack just to see what happens. So
tune in next time.
Tune in next time when I break the space-time continuum.
Cool.
Yeah, Napalm Death, Apex Predator, Easy Meat.
Sweet. My number 8, another one that's way lesser known. My number 8 is the album Earth from the band Sweet Cobra. They're a band from Chicago. And they're an interesting band because they started off, this is their 4th album, and their first 3 albums are way more on the sludge metal side of things. And then around the time, like their 3rd album, which is my favorite, which is called Mercy, one of the guitar players passed away from cancer. And then the band, a few years later, continued as a 3-piece, and they put out this album, which is a very different album from the first 3 that they did. It's much more, there's almost an indie rock quality to it, or an alternative rock quality. It's still got like almost like a sludgy like sheen to it, but the songs are more melodic. His vocals are more melodic. There's not as much yelling. But it made for a really interesting album, just hearing from those guys doing like something where they're messing around with melody and with slower tempos or less distortion. It's very interesting that they continued, but then they kind of altered their sound, which I think is kind of poetic because it's like they had this band that they did with their buddy who passed away. They continued the band, but then they kind of became a Mach 2, of themselves, and still do great shit. They're still doing shit now. on Instagram, one of the guys from the band said they're working on another album, so I'm excited about that. But this one's great. It's hard to explain, but it is very sludge metal adjacent on this, but it's more of straightforward alternative rock, I guess, kind of with a darker edge to it. But it's a great album, and that's Earth by Sweet Cobra.
Cool. Nice. Dude, I find out so many bands I've never heard of before from this show.
Yeah.
I need to actually start going back through all our year episodes and just like flicking through and just finding bands I've never heard, because I am simultaneously, like, very often I find myself quite overwhelmed by the sheer amount of music we listen to.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I always find myself like kind of starved as well. I'm like, come on though, like just give me another Alice in Chains or like a Faith No More to do a deep dive on. You know,
Yeah.
that's something that just like suddenly just bores its way into my brain, and it's all I can think about. The dog, the dogs are saying Motorhead, Motorhead.
That crazy sounding dog is the littlest dog we have. He goes full demon mode, and then we'll come up to you and be all like, "I'm sorry."
Tiny dogs are always the crazy ones. Yeah.
Yeah, he attacks the other dogs. He screams at everybody. It's
like a little Joe Pesci running around.
Yeah.
You made me pop your fucking eye out of your head for Charlie M. You know?
What do you mean I'm funny how?
Yeah.
Like a clown, I amuse you? What the fuck is so funny about me? Yeah. Where were we? Oh, yeah, we were moving on to number 7.
Okay, my number 7 is Meliora by Ghost.
Nice. Also on my list, but not quite this low.
Nice. Yeah, this album for me, this was a later real listen, but I remember the big song that was being played all the time on like Kerrang and Scuzz. This is towards like the end of me relying on the TV to show me stuff. Yeah. And I really just went down internet rabbit holes of 80s metal bands. Mm-hmm. But this album for me, when I heard Syracuse for the first time, my fucking head was blown off, because I was like, a riff, you know. I was getting so burnt out on the fact that, you know, over the course of about like 4 or 5 years, I slowly watched Kerrang and Scuzz turn from channels with varied programming to just a late 90s, early 2000s 24-hour live stream where it was like, okay, I've seen the same Evanescence and Korn videos 4 times in the last 2 hours. Can we please play something else? And my problem looking back was never with the fact that they played pop punk and nu metal. It was the fact that that was all they played in the end. And it became a thing of like, okay, right, I understand this has an audience. This has been the audience for the last 15 years. Can we have a little more variety going on? And for a time they did. Yeah. It slowly but surely over the course of about 5 years went from hourly programming blocks of different stuff, you know, underground bands, big bands, metal, punk, rock. Like, there were these chunks where it was like, oh, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. Yeah. And then eventually it just became, oh, this is a Y2K background machine. And it's like, okay.
It's weird. I mean, I've obviously never worked for a television station, but yeah, everything reached a point, you know, in the 2000s where it's like a lot of those channels, like they just didn't want to take risks anymore.
Yeah, they got scared,
and it was like, for me, it was a little bit insulting that like, oh, our audience can't take a variety of things or can't take sitting through music that they may not like, and I'm like, what? Why? Like what? Like the only difference is that the money wasn't there anymore. And if the money was there, then they'd be fine with playing this different music, but. That's the only thing that I feel that a lot of people, younger people, miss out on, is the heyday of MTV, where if you were really interested in music, you listened to a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally listen to.
Yeah.
If you were into metal and you liked watching MTV, you were going to hear hip hop and R&B and pop music, and straight up rock music, which I really loved. Because even if I didn't like a particular thing, I always loved hearing something I had never heard before. And now everything is algorithm driven. So, even now, like the updates to like Spotify and Apple Music, where now it's like if you want to be fed, music you haven't heard before, it still caters to like, well, here's what you like. And I'm like, that's kind of robbing people of the surprise of like hearing something that's like, oh, I don't normally listen to this, but this is cool. So it's kind of sad. But once again, I'm just old man yelling at a cloud about how things were better back then. But
I think that
they were also worse in some ways. So yeah.
as a younger person, though, like, hearing you say that doesn't make me think this fucking boomer. Like, what you're saying has weight to it. Like, you're not wrong. I think that a lot of the modern way of things, especially since streaming really took over, I think a lot of the love and care people have for art has been cheapened by convenience. I think that there is a big sense of now. I mean, the only real art form I can think of now that is undeniably absolutely crushing it is gaming. Gaming really now is, but even then, like, as someone who grew up during the 2000s, which in my opinion is like the 80s of gaming, right? Is it I mean, I know obviously you've got gaming in the 80s, but it's a completely different landscape. It's like comparing MTV to the wireless in the early 50s, right? It's a completely different fucking set of tools.
Yeah.
The main thing that I find myself thinking now is that I feel like gaming is reaching a point where it's having its 2000s moment where it's like, hang on a minute. There's a lot of like shitty stuff here, and not in terms of the games themselves, but the environment surrounding it, to where now, I mean, this has been the case for years now. Companies realized, parent companies of development companies will just go, we can put an unrealistic time frame on the release of this game so that the team will be motivated, quote unquote, to work hard and make it good. When in actual fact, it just puts everybody under immense strain. The game comes out shit, and it takes a full year of updates to actually make it playable. When I was a kid, you bought something, you went home and it worked, and you just loved it, and you loved this thing, and you took the manual out and you read the manual. You would come with a map of the whole game's world, and you would look at it thinking, wow, I can't wait to get there, or something like that. I'm using mainly the GTAs as an example. But like my main thing is like when you were a kid, I almost feel like I had my own like kind of MTV, but it was games.
Yeah.
And I discovered music through games, because a lot of games,
and that music wasn't catered to you. It was the music they included on those games. So
exactly, and several of the GTAs are period pieces. I mean, you got the 2 Vice City games and San Andreas.
Yeah,
and in a funny way, like all of those, and any of the GTAs that were set in the present day are now time capsules of the era they came out in.
Yeah.
I saw something really fucking crazy the other day that said, hey, you know how Vice City came out in 2002 and it was set in 1986, which makes that a 16-year gap? They were like, yeah. If you were to bring out Vice City today, it would be set in 2009. And I thought, oh my God, that's after when GTA 4 is set, which is, as far as I'm concerned, still present day. But now, I went back and played GTA 4 recently, and GTA 4 came out right at the time before, or as smartphones began to happen. So in the game, it's like, oh yeah, it's present day New York. And then you begin to realize, oh, I've still got a flip phone. And then like that passage of time thing kicks in. And I know I've gone on a massive tangent here, but like my main thing is like now we're living in an era where I think, oh man, like, you know, even my thing has had maybe its golden age, and there's always going to be cool stuff that's coming out. But you and I now, I feel like, are both in our, well, I guess we just got to look for it now portion.
Yeah.
Where it's like we were given that explosion of cool stuff to find.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that it's depressing me, it's just that, man, I want a world to open up to me again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I know so much now that it's kind of like, you know, not that I regret listening to all these albums in the first place. I mean, I love that I did that. I still love all these albums, but it definitely comes from a place of, man, I wish I could hear fucking Midlife Crisis or Wood or Plush or Master of Puppets or Hold the Line Again. Just all of these songs that, you know, initially you have no prior. I can remember thinking, even like before I knew about grunge, thrash, all of these things, I just thought about long-haired dudes playing kick-ass music in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about scenes. I was just like, oh, we just like it loud, huh? So yeah, yeah.
And it occasionally you do get the surprise of sort of something being renewed. And like I had literally just a couple days ago, I had an instance where a song that I had heard hundreds of times, I realized that I had part of the lyrics wrong, and it completely changed the song for me. So I was listening to a live bootleg of Nirvana from '92. And on that bootleg, they play Stay Away, which is a song that they didn't play live a lot. But I'm listening to the song, and the way the song originally, like on the album, it's you know, it's produced. So you have his main vocal, and then you have the other vocals doing the little, you know, interspersed thing of the of the verse. But live, he's singing it all himself, and the way he was pronouncing the words, I go, wait, what is he saying? Why does that sound weird? And then I went back to the lyrics. So on the verses of Stay Away, I thought the other little voices were saying, go away. I thought he was saying go away over and over again. And I've now thought that for 35 years.
Dude.
But he's actually saying don't know why. Don't know why. He's saying that. It's like, yeah. So it's...
Hold on.
He's not saying go away. He's saying don't know why. And when he's saying it live, I was like, oh, I can hear it more that he's saying don't know why. But I always thought he was saying go away in those little things. Man. Whatever you would call that, the little tags on each of the verse lines.
I don't even know what I thought you were saying. Like, monkey see, monkey do. Ow, ow, ow.
I thought he was saying go away, but he's saying don't know why, which sounds similar, but I didn't know that. And so all of a sudden, like my brain went, oh my God, I've heard this song so many fucking times, and I never knew that that's what he was saying there. And now it's like, hey, I got to sort of experience this song again for the first time.
Man.
So anyway, it does happen from time to time.
That just really hammered home why I love Stay Away so much. That's one of my favorite songs off Nevermind.
It's not, it's amazing. But now I want to go back because I remember in '92 I bought the Lithium single that had the lyrics to the album inside of it.
Oh yeah,
and I don't remember what the lyrics on that said. Like maybe it just didn't have any lyrics for that part. Like how did I not know that it was "Don't Know Why" for this many years? But anyway, it happens. So it happened to me. Anyway, so you get those little moments. You get like when you get older, all of a sudden those little moments start popping in, and you feel like you were just given a little miracle. Like, oh, cool, this is fun. Anyway,
you want to know a lyric that I misheard the first time? And it's an F-bomb in a Toto song that I thought it was an F-bomb, and I know full well that they wanted to put an F-bomb there, but they weren't allowed to.
Love isn't fucking on time.
Yeah, same album. Hold on. What is it? It's I'll Supply the Love. I'll Supply the Love.
That's a good one.
So you know the part where he goes, "I hear the same old 14 reasons."
Yeah.
Like, why is there specifically 14? You know,
You're right.
I hear the same old fucking reasons.
Yeah.
Must be the changing of the seasons. That bit there, 100% they wanted to put an F-bomb there. But what if I told you there is an F-bomb in a Toto song?
Oh.
And that is, shit, what's it called? It's off of Falling in Between.
I miss the fucking rains down in Africa.
Oh, shit, what's it? It's that one that sounds like a Van Halen song. Taint Your World. Hang on. And he literally says, "You don't want to fuck with me," and it's like,
nice.
it's like this is the band
Mr.
that did
Toto,
Africa.
watch your mouth.
Where is it? It's is it Taint Your World? You're so far away from where you need to be. Taint your world, 'cause you don't want to fuck with me. That bit there, it's like,
Nice.
oh. To be fair, Falling in Between is such an underrated Toto album because it opens up with what is essentially a prog metal song.
Yeah.
And nobody fucking talks about it, but that fucking album rules, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've successfully gone way off from where we were, but you were talking about Ghost, your number 7.
Yes, Ghost Meliora. That my main thing was like, stuff with I know that metal in the modern metal realm has riffs, but they're structured differently to more of the riff work that I tend to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I
Meat and potatoes riffs.
not even that, just like something with a bit more of a like something with a bit of a naughtier groove to it, like a bit more bluesy groove to it than necessarily just you know. And I like some of that, and that has its place. But when you're relying solely on all the time, you know, there's stuff like that I like, but then there's other stuff where it's like, I already have a band that I like that does that.
Yeah.
But for me, when it comes to riffs and stuff, I mean, Seriously just fucking really grabbed me. And there's lots of cool songs on here, from The Pinnacle to the Pit, Mummy Dust. There's so much cool stuff on this album. But yeah, I also think it's a huge step up from the first 2 albums as well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, because on the first album, they're basically doing what is essentially Black Sabbath meets Scooby-Doo chase music. And then on, like, not that that's a disservice, because I love that it sounds that way.
Yeah.
And then on the second album, there's kind of this, like, for me at least, I can't remember. Where did you place the second album in your list?
The second album would be lower down for me.
Yeah, I also had it lower, but they came back swinging with Meliora, and my main stance here is that this is where they hit their stride. This is where they became touring with Metallica. Ghost.
Yeah, they became like the big rock band version of themselves.
Yes,
where the first 2 seemed like a smaller band, but they embraced the possibilities of their sound, or his sound being huge, and it's kind of realized here for the first time. Yeah,
this is a Ghost positive show.
When we love Ghost, so yeah.
So anybody out here shouting "fuck Ghost" is like, get a fucking life, you know. Anyway, with that, my number 7, Ghost Meliora, wrapped up. All good.
Cool. Quite possibly another band now that you don't know for my number 7. My number 7 is Ours is Chrome by Superheaven, which...
I know Superheaven.
Okay, because this is up your alley because it's grunge.
I've heard Life in a Jar.
Life in a Jar is a great album. This is the second album. Life in a Jar is their first one. Ours is Chrome is the second one. This came along at a time like I wasn't doing very well, and just hearing a band kind of carrying the torch for the 90s grungy kind of stuff just made me very happy. And it's there's not much to say about it. Like if that sounds like something you would like, you're going to be into this album because it's really great, heavy alternative rock, grungy type stuff. and it feels real good. Like for somebody like me that was my teenage years, a lot of that music, hearing it done very well by a newer band, it just felt really good when I first heard this. And then they broke up, and then they got back together, and I didn't really like the last album that they did. It was okay. But this one, on the other hand, is very good. I don't know if I like this one more than Life in a Jar or not. Or it's just called Jar. That one's just called Jar. But
Yeah. I was in a grunge band in college, and we had a little set list going where we had Life in a Jar, an original track we did. I'll have to see if I can find that. We also did Man in the Box and Even Flow.
nice.
But we did like a mini gig at this pub called the Old Ale House in Truro, and it was good fun. It was good fun.
Sweet.
I was the drummer and backing vocalist,
Nice.
and the band was called Garden of the Armadillo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, Super Heaven, ours is Chrome, is my number 7. It's that's more of like a emotional album for me. Like I put it on and it just kind of feels like somebody that was there and helped me out when I was feeling down. Like that Super Heaven album was like literally that kind of thing. And so I kind of still get that emotion from it. But anyway, that's my number 7. Ours is Chrome.
Super Heaven is very much in my orbit of bands that I like, that I'm just like waiting for the moment to go bullseye, you're the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to give the newer album more of a shot because just my first listen, something was missing from it. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'll come around to it, I'm sure, because that kind of happens with me with bands I like. If they put out something that doesn't excite me, I just give it some time, and then all of a sudden I'll go, "What the fuck was I thinking?" So,
Well,
number 6.
with that, cool. So I'm coming in with a band that was very influential to the sound that dominated metal in the 2010s. And this album is Genexus by Fear Factory.
All right.
And it's Fear Factory doing their industrial metal, groove metal thing. And if I remember right, it was kind of their 20-year follow-up to Demanufacture.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I can't remember if that was what's it? Oh, it is a concept album. That was my.
Aren't they all concept albums? I remember when we did the ranking, it felt like everything was a concept album.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's a strong sense of War Against the Machines on pretty much. I mean, look at the fucking opening track, Autonomous Combat System.
Yeah.
That's something straight out of fucking Terminator. But yeah, it's a great album. Fear Factory doing Fear Factory damn well. I remember when this came out. To this day, Soul Hacker is one of my testing a speaker system songs.
Yeah.
You know, with that bass drop, it's like it needs to be a sound system needs to be capable of withstanding the opening to Soul Hacker for me to go, okay, this is gonna do.
Yeah.
You'll never take my. Yeah, that. Fucking great. It's great. I remember seeing the video for Dielectric all the time as well. And the thing that I really liked about it, and I like about Fear Factory, is that they have such heavy moments, but they're not afraid to go into a major key as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Like there are several moments throughout their discography where it's like, oh, this has kind of an uplifting vibe, and then they follow it up with the most crushing fucking riff you've ever heard. But yeah, it's Fear Factory doing Fear Factory and a damn good job at it. And to be honest, I don't give enough credit to what a formative band Fear Factory were for me in terms of, like, you know, getting used to double kick on a drum kit.
Yeah.
I used to play the songs on Demanufacture basically taught me how to play fucking double kick. There's so much of it on there. There's like stuff like that. Anything along those stuff, it's just I love Fear Factory. I need to listen more Fear Factory. I like Fear Factory a lot. Take a drink every time I say Fear Factory. That's my number 6, Genesis.
All right. I'm going to be really quick with this because we already talked about it. My number 6 is Meloria. Meliora. Meliora.
You got it.
Meliora from Ghost.
More like smelly aura.
Probably my second. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Probably my second favorite Ghost album. And I think it may have been my number 2, unless I put the first album as my number 2. But, anyway, go watch the ranking if you want to find out how we ranked the Ghost albums. But I really like this one. And I like it for like a lot of the reasons you brought up, because it really did feel like they sort of fleshed out and went very bold with their sound and the songwriting and made it sound like a band that could fill an arena and have that kind of presence of that big ass band kind of sound. Anyway, lots of great songs on this. If you're not into Ghost, this might be a good place to start, really. I don't know.
That's a good place to start.
Impera is my favorite Ghost album, but this one's a close second, and the original. But the first album for a different reason. But anyway, Meliora by Ghost is my number 6, which we already talked about. So we can move on to number 5. Top 5 albums from 2015.
2015. Okay, cool. My number 5 is Slayer's Repentless.
All right.
Released on September 11th, 2015. Not the first Slayer album to come out on that controversial date.
And I remember that day. I remember 2015, September 11th, listening to the album when it dropped. And that's it. That's all I have to say about that. I shook my head a lot listening to that album. I was like,
it's one of those. It's one of those though where it's the only Slayer album that came out by the time I was a Slayer fan. So World Painted Blood came out right before I got into Slayer in 2010.
Yeah.
When simply put, I became a metalhead in 2010.
Yeah.
Thanks to a mixture of Guitar Hero and Grand Theft Auto. But there's lots of, not to discredit my uncle and Kerrang as well, that played a huge part in it too. And Metal Hammer. I just did a deep dive in 2010 and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, Repentless, I remember coming out and just thinking, oh yeah, it's fucking Slayer doing fucking Slayer. There are moments on this where I think, oh, but there's other moments where I think, oh, that is gnarly. And there is one point on the album, I can't even remember which song it is, but there's one just like, that like Tom Araya lets out in mid song, just fucking kills me every time because it comes out of nowhere. But yeah, it's got a really good opening as well. Like the first 2 tracks, was it like Delusions of Savior and Into Repentless is really fucking cool. And I remember seeing them at Plymouth Pavilions with Anthrax supporting, and a huge thing I remember seeing before they went on stage, or before at least Anthrax went on stage, was the French flag being projected onto the curtains because the Bataclan terrorist attack at the Eagles of Death Metal show happened like 3 days before that show.
Okay, I remember.
And I just remember standing in that venue, and I knew that I wasn't going to get shot, but the entire time I was kind of on edge. I was thinking, fuck, man, if it happened there, none of us are. And thankfully, as far as I'm aware, this is me mega touching wood right now, that doesn't happen again.
Except for the country music concert where everybody got, that was after the country music show where so these things happen, and so it's really just like, watch out for yourselves, and and my words of advice are, don't go anywhere. Just don't.
I'll say this: I situated myself by a fire exit and stayed there pretty much the entire time, but I moshed my ass off.
Yeah.
But simply put, I remember this period of time being like the moment where things changed for me,
Yeah.
where I went from being surrounded by people that didn't understand me in secondary school to being surrounded by, oh, everyone is in the same boat here now. We're
Yeah.
all here for one reason, and that's music. And that was my experience with going to college specifically for music. Now, college here is the last 2 years of high school over there.
Yeah.
So that's where we do our A levels or our B Tech. So I got a B Tech, I got a diploma in music, and I used it to go to Falmouth Uni the next 3 years. And then I graduated directly into a pandemic and couldn't play any gigs. So that was a fun 2 years. However, I smartly decided halfway, right at the end of my second year, that I was going to do a YouTube channel for my third year project, and that ended up blossoming into me being a co-host on this show.
Hey, yeah, see? There you go.
So yeah, and I'm gonna get back to making YouTube content soon as well.
You heard it here,
that's,
guys.
That's in the works. I'm still workshopping some ideas. I've been going back and forth. I've been making stuff, editing it, not being happy with it, going back to the drawing board and other things like that. But we're getting there, and I think 2026 is gonna yield some good shit. But simply put, I think Repentless is kind of the soundtrack of me being in a good place again for the first time in like 6 years. So that album for me always brings me back to, oh, okay, right, we're out the other end of the shit now. Time to get stuck in and just fucking enjoy life again.
Yeah.
Things might have sucked, but they don't suck as much as they did then. So let's crack on and listen to Repentless.
Yeah.
Also,
I think I give that album I give it. I don't know. I'm probably kind of harsh, but it's only because it's my least favorite Slayer record, and it's the one they went out on when they didn't need to do that. Because World Painted Blood is really good to me, and I was like, if they just ended it there, it's it's not their best album, but it's a strong ending. And Repentless just really felt like going through the motions of like, well, we got to put out one more Slayer album, and here it is, and it sounds Slayer-esque, and it's it's not anything new or interesting. Whereas I feel like every album that they had done prior had something about it that made it stand out, and then this one really didn't. So that's just my opinion, anyway. So
fair play. It's more of a personal attachment I have to this album.
Yeah.
Because obviously I started Truro College in September 2015, and this came out right around then. So it was a really cool thing to be like, oh, a new Slayer album and life doesn't suck anymore.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then
I get that totally.
And then just a year later, there was new Metallica as well. So college was a good time for me. I'm pretty sure like all of the thrash bands came out with an album around this time, and that was like,
yeah.
That was emblematic of me being like, oh, thank fuck, that's over. Yeah. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Back to you.
My number 5.
With the weather.
My number 5 is the second full length and most recent full length from Power Mad, Infinite, which I fucking did. I did a Band You Should Know episode on Power Mad because I think they're a great band. But this is one of the greatest comeback albums. It's in my top 5 of comeback metal band albums. Because they hadn't done an album since '89. And this doesn't even sound that much like Absolute Power, which was the last album that they did in '89. Because that one's almost has a more, maybe a little bit of a power metal thing in it, but it's speed metal. A little bit of thrashiness, but this one is a lot more thrashy and a lot more modern heavy metal, even though it's 3/4 of the same band, same singer, same guitar player, same bass player. But the drummer on this album is a guy named Dirk Verburen.
Oh shit!
Who is now in Megadeth. So the drumming is fantastic. This is a highly recommended album. It's so fucking good. Also, this vinyl, Look at this. Look at this fucking. Look at this.
Oh shit! That's so cool.
It opens up like that, and there's a little.
It's a
record in there.
fucking pop out.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, and I don't know. The weird thing is they did this album. They did an album in '89. Then they broke up. They got back together. They did an album in 2015, and apparently from the main guy in the band, I was told that they were working on another album a couple years ago, and that has not materialized at all. But it's so good. I would say it's even better than the '89 album, but it's different. It's hard to compare the two because they do have a different vibe. But this is real good. Like, just do you like metal at all? Then get this album, Infinite by Power Mad. It is really, really fucking good. And so yeah, that's my number 5, Infinite from Power Mad.
We may have stumbled on a content goldmine here.
Why? What happened?
I typed in Power Mad into the thing just to get it to come up to see if I could like get my hands on that. And I've stumbled on what may make up a mini review list right now if you'd be down.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we have 2 reviews here.
Is there a negative review for this album?
Someone has given this album a 0%.
Who the fuck is that stupid?
Apparently Florids as of November 12th, 2020. Are you ready?
Oh God, yeah, I guess.
Here we go. We're going in.
All right.
On a recent run of forgotten American metal bands from back in the day, I've come across a number of pleasant surprises who, even with a limited discography, prove that they can make great music that is worth one's time. Power Mad was one of those bands. Emphasis on the word was. Their early recordings had promise, which was further displayed in full effect on their 1989 debut, Absolute Power. Unfortunately, that would be the last time the band would record anything worthwhile. Following their subsequent disbanding in the early 90s, Power Mad returned to the music world over 2 decades later with an absolute abomination of a sophomore record. While the music on Absolute Power made up for the incredibly lame cover art, Infinite lets the two stoop down from the same low point. Like, wow, this album is a letdown. From the terrible song titles to the awkward rhythms, this album is nothing but 42 minutes of head scratching and flabbergasting. How is the same band that recorded good speed metal back in the day, even with 3 or 4 of the members present on both albums? I'm struggling to understand how both albums have the same band name attached to them. What happened to the power metal screams and the glorious speed metal riffs of the late 80s?
Oh, this guy, okay, it's very clear what this person has a preference, and it doesn't fit the preference.
Heck, the lyrics were even 10,000 times better back then, too. This album ticks me off the same way Sanctuary did when they unloaded the nightmarish trash heap that was The Year the Sun Died. A good power metal band randomly reincarnating itself 20 years later as a shadow of its former self. The power metal speed metal hybrid with elements of thrash devolves into a washed up groove metal wannabe with a production so flat and lifeless it could make a cardboard box sound like a Grammy winning artist. Power Mad's Infinite makes Sanctuary's worst album look like a shining star. At least the late great Warrell Dane is a good singer. He recorded was still a good singer. He recorded The Year the Sun Died. I'm still not even halfway through. While I'm on the topic of this is incredibly off. But I haven't even heard the album, and I already know that this guy's being a dick. While I'm on the topic of vocalists, let's talk about Joel Dubé. Is it Dubé?
Sure, probably.
On Absolute Power, Dubé, who also serves as a rhythm guitarist for the band, laid out a seriously commendable performance. 26 years later, all that prowess has not only died, it seemed to eliminate itself from the timeline. To expect Dubé to sound the same now as he did in 1989 is unrealistic and foolish, but to expect and tolerate him to sound like this is jaw-dropping and astonishingly nonsensical.
But he sounds good. He doesn't sing the same way on this album, but okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to be you're going to love this part. This album contains some of the worst vocal delivery I have ever heard. And don't get me started on the vomit-inducing lyrics that find a home on over half the songs on this record. I can tolerate subpar lyrics if the music is good, but I struggle to find solace in the rhythms on Infinite. Whenever Dubé tries to hit the high notes or randomly tries his hand at death growing, he spelled growling wrong, I start feeling sick to my stomach. Speaking of the music, how did anyone think rehashing phoned-in, watered-down melodeath and groove metal riffs with the occasional touches of gent was a good idea? Ignore my bias against all three of those subgenres. I think you've made it very clear, buddy, that you have a bias against a lot.
Also, I really feel like this is that kind of guy that has heard like 10 bands, and they just so happen to be. So he kind of knows what genres are, but I don't know. It's just I hate people. Yeah. Like, why? Yeah. Like, this is not a helpful review for anybody. It's just douchebaggery in form.
He could have just wrote "I am a cunt" and had the same result. It would have saved him a lot of time. I know crap riffs when I hear them, even if some of the songs on this album contain riffs that border on being thrash, just like their old stuff. They underwhelm and disappoint me beyond belief. The further I get into the track list, I start to realize that I had it easy on the opener Army of One and its immediate successor, By a Thread. How am I 5 paragraphs in and only mentioning now that, that this album progressively gets worse? Had the band put the 4th track, My Day of Demons, absolutely terrible song title, by the way, closer to the end of the album, this album would literally be the gift that keeps on giving, if the gift was kicking you in the gut harder and harder each time until you passed out. I hope Dirk Verburen got paid well to record drums for this band. He is a legitimately good percussionist whose talents have gone to waste here. Dirk's been in a lot of bands, and in each of them...
I think this guy got the wrong album. I really do think that he got the wrong album. Like, what the fuck are you listening to?
Yeah. It says here, Dirk's been in a lot of bands, and in each of them, he performs well over a band that sounds, at minimum, 100 times better than whatever Power Mad is trying to be here. I'm convinced he didn't write his own parts for any of these songs. There are blast beats randomly inserted into parts of these songs that are so out of place, they make a polar bear wandering through Texas feel at home. I'm struggling to... You're from Texas. Can you vouch for that? Do you have polar bears there?
Well, no, but I mean...
Okay, cool. I'm glad we cleared that up. Nothing else here is making sense. I'm struggling to find something to praise on this album. I was joking when I said the polar bear thing. I'm convinced the Power Mad name was only glued to this hideous mess to attract the band's fan base from back in the day. This album would be not only more tolerable, but less anger-inducing had this been recorded and released under a different name. I am no stranger to the idea that bands can't sound the same almost 30 years later.
Wait, so it would be okay, just the name is the problem? It's the same band, the same three of the dudes. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I'm no stranger to the idea that bands can't sound the same almost 30 years later, but comeback albums should be about celebrating what was and...
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah. What is it? But comeback albums should be about celebrating what was and reminding us why we cherish the old stuff.
No.
No.
Comeback albums should literally be whatever the band wants it to be.
Come back and do something new.
Yeah. So for reviews like this, I'm always just like, hey, could you send me a link to your band stuff?
Yeah. Oh my God. It was, I may not have been alive when Absolute Power was released, but I wish God had mercy on the souls who had to wait 26 years for this album. Florid's favorites, you couldn't pay me to put something here, bud. And that's Florid's November 12th, 2020 review, A Maddening Mess, 0%.
Anyway,
the good news is,
if you're not a total dweeb, Power Mad Infinite is a really great album. So there you go.
The good news is the other review here says, the Mad for Power, never say never, and it's a 90% positive review.
Yeah, it's literally God damn it.
And I just want to really quickly see what other albums he's reviewed. Okay, so he gave 84% to Tigers of Pantang's Ritual. Zentrix, Bury the Pain got 85%. Enforcer's Zenith got 77%. Striker, Stand in the Fire got 100%. And
Oh,
Death.
well, that's real. That's all I need to know. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with Striker's fine if you're into that kind of thing, but this guy is this. Okay, I guarantee you, this is one of those guys that has commented somewhere on the internet that metal has never been political. To him, metal is swords and dragons, and this guy sucks. This guy sucks. He sucks.
You suck, dude. Anyway, now that we've had a mini revuculus in the middle of the show unexpectedly, I just wanted you to tear that apart. It always feels good to me to see you pick someone apart.
It just annoys me because it's so just like there's actual bad music out there, and then there are those people that just feel like shitting on a particular thing gives them some kind of clout, and it really just makes them sound clueless as fuck. But what the fuck do I know? Because I'm the person that a lot of people would look at and be like, you're not even a real metalhead. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not. So
I only have an entire wall of the shit plus other stuff.
It's the other stuff that makes me not a metalhead because I like variety.
Dude,
but then again, other people would look at me and be like, "You don't have enough of variety in your music," and I'm like, "I can't fucking win. I'm only one man."
Yeah, I was going to say, people like us can't win. We're just elite beings that the world's not ready for.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get at. I don't want to talk about Flurpy or whatever his name was anymore.
Florids.
Florids. Shut up. Is he from Florida? That would make sense. Anyway, number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is Trans Am by VHS Dreams. Guess what genre this is?
Is this another vapor? Is like vaporwave or
synthwave?
Synthwave.
Yeah. So this is a full embrace of the 80s sound, but blending it kind of with like a dance music sort of vibe.
Oh, nice.
And right out of the, I mean, I'm gonna read you the track list.
Okay.
And so many of these are going to jump out to you as like, oh wow, yeah, I can already tell what this is going to sound like. But it's contrary to the duet one, Borderline, that was really chill. This one is like you are in the Malibu Club in Ocean Point in Vice City, and this is playing in an alternate history where the 80s never really left. And there's a lot of cool stuff here where like a lot of it has like a kind of dance music kind of house beat to it, but everything on top of what is going on is super 80s. And like Vice Point right out of the gate is an excellent fucking opener. You get Miami, 2K15, Highway Lovers, REDM, Trans Am, Discord Chord, Shanglin, 2K15, Night Drive, Ocean Heights, and AM Eternal. Now, 2 of these tracks in particular are named after Vice Point and Ocean Heights are both places in GTA Vice City.
Okay.
Which just goes to show the influence that had on that piece of media had on this generation's understanding of the 80s. Is that at this point synthwave has branched off and just become its own genre in the modern day, independent of the 80s itself. There's obviously there is a qualifier. It has to sound a bit 80s to be synthwave. However, it's just so cool, and I really want to get back more into a bit more of a synthwave deep dive, which at some point we should pick an artist to do a Crankdom Ranked on, because we've never gone in on synthwave, even though I've mentioned it a few times. But yeah,
I mean, so does like GOST Ghost, does that count as synthwave or Perturbator?
Yeah, absolutely.
So GOST is I think they're even on like a metal label.
Have you heard of a? Oh, sorry. You finish first.
I was just saying, like they're a synthwave band, and I kind of like what they do. So
There's a band called Carpenter Brute.
I've heard of them too.
Yeah. They're also.
I would say just pick one, and we can tackle it because that music's really fun,
dude. Yeah. And the thing I love about this is you go on Carpenter Brute's wiki page, and here are the genres listed: dark synth, synthwave, French electro, Italo disco revival, progressive metal. I love that those things exist together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, hang on a minute. Let me look something up really quick. When did Leather Teeth come out? Oh, okay, that was way later. That was 2018, I believe. Yeah, sorry. But I got sidetracked there. Anyway, VHS Dreams, Trans Am. If you're driving at night and you want to feel like you're in some sort of 80s Miami Vice car chase, put this on.
Nice.
Because it's cool. Preferably in the summer with the windows down.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go through this number 4 real quickly because I know you're going to talk about it too. My number 4 is Sol Invictus by Faith No More, which is my least favorite Faith No More album out of every Faith No More album. But
it's still a Faith No More album.
Yeah. When I was doing this list, I was looking at the tracks. I was like, wow, this is actually a really good album. It just didn't like blow me away. But it's really good shit. But we'll talk about it more because I know you're going to have this one. But my number 4 is probably the final Faith No More album, Sol Invictus. But yeah, we'll discuss that again later. So let's move on.
I'm going to say it right now. I'm 100% willing to become the singer of Faith No More if they want to do it.
All you guys got to do is go listen to the Grave Circuit album that we put out. And dude, you'll hear that he could easily do some Mike Patton style stuff while having his own style. So so guys, Faith No More guys, let's give Eddie Sparxx a shot.
Dude, I'd be down for touring with them if they said they're only doing Chuck stuff. You know, I'd be down to join Faith No More if they were only doing the easy listening stuff. Dude, I'm happy to show up and I just do what they tell me. That is the one group of dudes where I'm just happy to be told, do this.
Yeah.
Okay, Billy, I'll do that. Yeah. But all in all, I do have contributions as well. I could offer as well.
He completely transformed the shit I'd been sitting on for years and made it way better. So that's, I was going to say anything.
The only stipulation is my boy Oldhead has to join too, and you become a 2-guitar band.
I honestly, if they're not going to get Jim back in the band, I'd just take over as the only guitar player because I don't really.
All right, forget what Oldhead said. Hire me.
I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of that other guitar player.
John Hudson.
Yeah, he's fine, and that band needs more than a guitar player who's just fine. Anyway, number 3. Your number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is Enforcer with From Beyond.
I know this album. I remember it coming out.
Yeah, this for me was like a glimmer of, there's music that sounds like 80s metal coming out now. And I had this this is the album that made me have the epiphany that good shit is coming out.
Yeah.
I felt really alienated and I had I'll even say I had a music teacher that made me feel bad for having the music taste I had. I was referred to as Dad Rock Eddie, and I just didn't really fit in with the group there, which is why I went to Truro College instead. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. I fucked off and became Eddie.
And now Dad Rock,
better for it.
Dad Rock would be like Nickelback.
Yeah. Which, strangely enough, is now more relevant than ever, having a fucking, full circle 20-year. it's reaching the circle of cringe moment, I call it, where it's like, oh, it was uncool. Now it's been 20 years. Everybody wants it back. So yeah.
I mean, not everybody, but yeah.
Not everybody, but yeah. It's, like I say, From Beyond, really good speed metal album. From the dudes in Enforcer. And to be honest, I need to listen to a lot of their other stuff because I know this is one of those times where I know one album inside and out and the rest of the discography I still need to do.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to put Enforcer on the list. But this is a case of a band not really breaking any new ground, but clearly loving the stuff that they do. And this album really was the catalyst for me going, oh shit, well, I could write some 80s metal stuff too. Wink, wink. New album coming down the pipeline. But yeah, simply put, it's great. Destroyer is a kick-ass opener. Undying Evil makes it a 1-2 punch. From Beyond slows the tempo a little bit. It's fucking kick-ass. And title track. One with Fire, fucking rad. Below the Slumber. This is one of those times I'm actually doing a track by track for the first time in ages. But Below the Slumber, I remember someone tried to ruin that song for me by saying that the vocals sounded like SpongeBob. And that just made me love it more because I love SpongeBob. Yeah. So now when I hear it, I picture SpongeBob in that episode where they play the Bubble Bowl and Squidward finally wins for once because the band he's put together. Have you seen that scene?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, that's like the best one, right? So they all have that moment where they do that fucking Joffrey song or whatever it is they play at the end, where it's like all of a sudden Squidward thinks it's going to fail. Because up until this point, all of the band have been just sucking. And then all of a sudden, SpongeBob has like a spotlight on him and he gets up. And it's like the voice of David Glenn Isley. It's like, the winner takes all. It's the thrill of one more kill. Last one to fall. We'll never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the wind closing in. Sorry, it's just that little moment. I love that.
We lost you for a second there.
Yeah, sorry. I went into. I was performing for Wembley in that moment. One day. Yeah, one day. But yeah. Simply put, I just think of SpongeBob in that scene now, where like undeniably there is a moment there where I think I close my eyes. That is SpongeBob vocals, but they kick ass at the same time. Yeah. You know, I'm not disparaging the Olaf Vikstrand at all, because he's an excellent fucking frontman. It's just someone pointed out to me that in this one specific song, it sounded like SpongeBob on a mountain, and that kicks ass to me. Hungry They Will Come, The Banshee, Farewell, Hell Will Follow, Mask of Red Death. Honestly, this album could have walked straight out of 1984. And I would believe you. And it kicks ass. And I remember hearing it, going out and buying it because I was so impressed. And it was this like this glimmering ray of hope that got me through an era that felt quite alienating to be into the kind of music I was into. So yeah, Enforcer kind of saved my bacon there a little bit. Nice. Kind of kept me going. Found me a little nugget of what could be. Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
It's my number 3.
All right, my number 3. This is a band that I was a huge latecomer to. And I remember hearing probably this album when it came out. And at the time, for some reason, the band didn't connect with me. And that is really dumb. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, because a few years later, I would end up getting really into this band. And their second album came out in 2015, and my number 3 is called 2 by the band Metz, METZ, from Canada. And I like the cover. They do this thing where you can see the band name in there. It's like,
oh, it's embossed.
It's embossed into it. They like
that's
3 of their albums I think have that on it. But this is grungy noise rock. Sounds straight out of the 90s. really energetic, and it's some of it even reminds me of like, especially this album, it reminds me of like if Nirvana had made another album and they had leaned into the noisy side of their music, it would sound like Mets too. So many fucking great songs on this. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's hard for me to pick, especially the second half of this album. This album's fucking stacked on the second half, but it's just amazing. And this band, unfortunately, like they put out 5 albums, I believe, and then they went on hiatus. So just around the time that I that I got into them, they went on hiatus. They knew it. They feel like, oh god damn it, old heads into us. We can't do this anymore. Mets is a great band. Highly recommended if you like noise rock and 90s sounding rock that's just really well done, but also very interesting and kind of unique in their own way, but just fucking great. So Mets 2 is my number 3.
Nice. Cool. So my number 2 is a fun one.
Okay.
And you're gonna like this. I'm pretty sure. I'd be shocked if you haven't. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it before. My number 2 of 2015 is the Kung Fury soundtrack.
Oh yes, yes.
This was a game changer for me, where I suddenly went from having a tangential love of the 80s due to some movies and the glam metal stuff I'd been exposed to from GTA Vice City into a full-blown obsession. The Kung Fury soundtrack is a fucking masterpiece of 80s action movie score music done in the modern day. I mean, obviously the crown jewel is True Survivor, which involved David Hasselhoff on vocals, but also Jorgen Elofsson and Mitch Murder. Mitch Murder is a big synthwave dude who did a sizable portion of this soundtrack. But there's other tracks on here from Lost Years, Betamax, Christopher Ling. There's some really cool stuff here. The music on this is just like, imagine the feeling of just being an invincible fucking force of nature and having this be your music. Like, this to me was... This really, really, really... Like, the film is funny as shit because it just completely takes the piss out of the 80s in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it's amazingly well done. Like
It's brilliantly well done.
It is fantastic too. And it's such a fucking shame that they filmed most of the follow-up to it, and for legal reasons it got stalled, and I think they just abandoned it. And I'm like, fuck, that fucking sucks. But maybe one day it'll come out.
Yeah, I really hope it does, because hot damn, it is for the budget it was done on. Yeah, it is such a masterpiece, dude, and I will maintain it is one of the coolest things to ever grace YouTube. Like,
yeah, I felt that was one of those moments where I was there right on time, so I felt kind of cool because I was there in the beginning when they were asking, they were releasing it, but they were asking for donations, I guess, to like, I don't know what, for fun. I think it was already made, but it was the kind of thing where because they weren't making any money off of it, you were buying it essentially. Yeah. Because it may be on YouTube out right now, but I remember I forked over the money to buy it because I just saw the trailer and I was like, "Holy fuck, looks amazing!" And it didn't disappoint at all. It's like a fucking 30-minute 80s video game comedy spoof.
Yeah. Well, it somehow covers like all bases of 80s action hero in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And all the accompanying music score is just so beautifully done. I can remember me and my friend Steven watched this like every day for a year. Like, it's just such a fucking masterpiece, man. Like, and so much of it is shot on green screen, but like at the same time, it's done in such a way that very often you forget that you're even watching that.
Yeah, it's very stylized to kind of
Yeah.
hide that fact. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great.
And it's not very long, folks. If you want to go
Yeah.
check it out, it's not like a full length movie. What is it? It's like 30, 40 minutes long?
It is 30 minutes long. You can watch it on YouTube completely for free.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, go check it out.
And it is just, it's a fucking masterpiece.
As hell.
Yeah, yeah. I know I keep saying the words fucking masterpiece, but genuinely, this felt like something. It genuinely felt like someone reached into my soul and pulled something out, and this was one of those things.
Yeah.
Like I just it was so perfectly timed for me. I mean, what was it? Release dates. Was it 22nd of May, 28th of May? Depending. Either way, it's great. It's a short film. It's half an hour, and you essentially get all of the hallmarks of what we love about the 80s action movies and stuff, and Miami and every. I can't accurately put into words what an utter masterpiece this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go watch that. That's your homework from this episode.
And then the soundtrack was your number 2.
And the soundtrack is my number 2.
Cool. My number 2 is another comeback album. And this one is one of my favorite bands of the 90s, came back in 2015. And my number 2 is The Heart is a Monster by Failure. And this is a fucking great album. And it was just, I remember when it came out, I was so excited for it because like I love Failure so much that the original 3 albums that they put out are 3 of my favorite albums of the 90s. And then they follow it up with this, which has a lot of the same characteristics. It kind of is a bridge, from their third album, Fantastic Planet. It kind of picks up where that left off, but in a more modern way, I guess, for them. It's just such great songs, great performances. If you don't know Failure, I just say just listen to every Failure album ever. But now they've been back long enough to where they have another 3 albums. They've literally now been I think they've been reunited longer than they were originally a band in the 90s. But this was the comeback, and it was the one that I was just like, oh my God, this is like everything I want from this band, while still very much sounding like Failure. And so, Heart is a Monster. The Heart is a Monster from Failure is my number 2.
Cool. Which brings me to my number 1. Can you hear?
I was like, could you hear? There was an ice cream truck going by.
I heard a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody go out and buy ice cream from an ice cream truck anymore? Like, what are you even doing? Are you selling drugs? Anyway.
Funny that there's while we were on the subject of 80s Miami stuff, there is a mission in Vice City where you buy out an ice cream factory and you sell coke out of it.
Nice.
And one of the side quests is you have to get into one of the ice cream trucks there and drive out and sell 50 bags of coke disguised as an ice cream dude from the thing.
Man, the creators of like Pac-Man are like, what the fuck happened with video games?
And they only have their own era to blame.
Yeah.
Number 1. My number 1. I mean, it's one of my favorite bands. It's Sol Invictus, Faith No More.
Yep.
This is one of those grower albums for me where at the time I found myself thinking, man, it feels like they picked up where they left off with the sound of album of the year. Even the album art is another black and white photo. And I found myself thinking, okay, all right. But one thing that stood out to me is that compared to album of the year, there's actually almost like an emphasis on more acoustic instruments like real pianos and acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't acoustic guitars on album of the year, because there are a few times, but this album in particular really does feel like another, just a, albeit a smaller step in a different direction, but this definitely feels kind of in one way where they picked up where they left off, and in other ways there's moments that made me really prick up my ears and go, oh, hang on a minute. Like the three standout tracks for me from this are Superhero. I remember hearing Superhero and being blown away by that song. Separation Anxiety kind of gives me like Angel Dust-esque vibes. It's like, it's the first use of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's really any of that on Album of the Year. But I mean, the Cone of Shame as well. Cone of Shame, Sunny Side Up, Motherfucker. There's so many standout moments on this where, honestly, this would be any other band's best album, but because this is the band that did The Real Thing and Angel Dust and King for a Day and Introduce Yourself, that in the Faith No More ranking, it wasn't very high. However, in this ranking, I mean, there's all the other albums that come before it. The Kung Fury soundtrack and Faith No More just had to be at the top. They're too significant to be anywhere else for me.
Yeah. So my problem with the album initially was the fact that Faith No More was a band that in my life had 3 times in a row put out albums that were game changers for me. Real Thing, Angel Dust, and King for a Day were all albums that came out, and my brain, I felt like my brain was expanding while I was listening to them the first time. And Album of the Year was the first one where it didn't quite do the same thing, although I grew to really love it. This one, the first single was Motherfucker, and immediately I was like, oh my God, are they going to do it again? Are they going to literally give me something I'm not expecting and challenge me? And like, I'm so ready for this. Cause like that, first off, I was like, cause the main vocals on Motherfucker that's Roddy.
It's Roddy. Yeah.
And just
apart from Mike Patton going, hello, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that on this.
So I love that song, and it really made me go, oh my God, this album's going to fucking rule. And then the album came out and I was like, oh, this all sounds like, some of it sounds like it could be on any Mike Patton album. And that's what kind of bummed me out about it. But that being said, I really like it. It ended up being my number 4 of 2015. But yeah, it didn't do what I wanted it to do or was hoping it was going to do. But it's great. It's just unfortunately that it's in their discography, which has so many amazing albums that it's competing with. So
I will say, for me, the only thing that puts this album really above Album of the Year for me is the fact that the band sound more into it than they do on Album of the Year.
I give you that.
On Album of the Year, they sound like a band that is fractured off, and they aren't the strong core they once necessarily were, despite the album, in my eyes, still being thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think that this album at least has a bit of a renewed vigor to them. And it's like, oh, okay, these guys meant it more with this album than they did the previous album. That being said, would I like another Faith No More album? And would I like it to be completely different with maybe just a thrown in there occasionally every now and again? But yeah, I mean, I fucking love Faith No More. I always will.
So do I.
I mean, I would say that if it's possible to have a number 1 spot tied, for me, my 2 favorite bands are Metallica and Faith No More. Those are my top 2.
Yeah.
Firmly planted.
They're in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your number one. My number one. I'm going to wrap this up because we already talked about this album too. But this is by far my favorite album from 2015. Apex Predator,
Nice.
Easy Meat by Napalm Death. I remember this album came out, and it was on streaming, and I remember sitting in my living room, and I had my TV hooked up to a speaker system so I could go to Apple Music and I could play it. And I just sat there, and I was all in my brain. I was like, oh, I'm going to go grab a drink in a second, but I just literally sat in my chair in the room, and I was like, oh my God, like it hits all of the fucking marks that I want them to do. It's experimental in certain respects. It's got those grindy Napalm Death style songs that you're kind of wanting from them, but it's pushing boundaries. I think this was in my top 5 when we did the ranking. It wasn't my number one, of course, but my number one is also very surprising to Napalm Death fans. But I love all Napalm Death, and but the best thing about this is that this was an album that came out, and I immediately went, these dudes have been at it for this long, and they can put out an album where I'm just like, oh my God, it stands up with anything they've fucking done, in my opinion. Same thing with the album that follows this, which is the Throes of Joy and the Jaws of Defeatism. Same thing, where they just continue to put out albums where I'm like, wow, that's like, there's a lot of gas left in the tank for this band. And I love this album. It's so good. If you like Napalm Death's one of those bands that I'm like, I don't know where to tell somebody to start listening to Napalm Death. This is as good of any of a place to start. But me, as much as I love every Napalm Death album, I mostly my favorites are the ones where they give me enough of that fast, aggressive grindiness, but they also experiment and go to places where I'm like, oh, I was not expecting that. Those are my favorite Napalm Death albums, which Apex Predator is one of those. So that's my number one of 2015. Okay, so yeah. That ended up being better than I thought, because initially I really was like, am I going to have to like just grab albums that I don't know very well because I don't have enough? But turns out there was a lot of music I was into in 2015.
Dude, I too thought this was going to be an episode where I was going to have to go out and binge listen a bunch of 2015 albums.
Yeah.
But I actually knew a lot more than I remembered, and that was fun. So
It was
yeah.
fun. And now for you peanut butter platypuses, nope. Let's try that again. Peanut butter platypuses, aluminium squirrels, Belvedere bowl sitters, and Christmas dogs. This is the part where we talk about next episode, which is it suicidal tendencies?
It is, but I'm going to be delayed by a week, unfortunately, as I'm just realizing now that I'm telling you this for the first time. So something snuck up, and it turns out that I cannot make it next week because I have a prior commitment. I'm not going to say what that is because I don't want to get assassinated. So I'm not saying.
Like, what does that mean?
No. So it's nothing.
He's running for office, folks.
It's nothing serious. But
okay. Well, that gives you 2 weeks to work on suicidal tendencies ranking.
Yes, which has thankfully bought me some time. So unfortunately, you're going to have about a week to wait. However, if you have yet to listen to some of our other episodes, we have 5 years worth of backlog to keep yourself entertained.
Yeah, if there's ever a week that that an episode doesn't come out, just go to if you're on a podcast or if you're on YouTube, just scroll that shit down and find one you haven't heard, because I guarantee. I mean, I'd like to know: is there anyone out there that has listened to or watched every episode we've done? let us know in the comments in YouTube if you have. But
Well, I know I have, but I've been here for all of them. So
I watched them as they were happening.
yeah, I'm one of the guys. I'm part of the team.
But yeah, so suicidal tendencies. Here's the one question I have for you, which for you folks out there, you get to hear us figure this out. Are we including the cover albums where they cover previously recorded music, or do you want to leave those out?
I feel like I want to include them because one of them takes place during an era where I'm very much a fan of the production style.
Okay, so so it's like it's the I can't remember the name of the one from the 90s.
Still Psycho after all these years.
Yeah, and then Still Psycho Punk, I believe, is the other cover album.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
After you.
No,
Sorry,
I'm just saying.
I jumped the gun there a little bit. It's the Zoom delay. What is it? Oh, are we including Controlled by Hatred, Feel Like Shit, Deja Vu?
100%. We have to.
Cool, absolutely.
Because that one has re-recorded songs, but they're not re-recorded Suicidal. But I guess technically, Still Psychopunk is not re-recorded Suicidal. It's re-recorded Mike Muir solo. But so we'll include the two quote unquote cover albums, which is not really covers, it's their own music done again. And then we have to include Controlled by Hatred, Feel Like Shit, Deja Vu, because that's just a fucking classic. But it has No Mercy songs on it, like the other band that Mike did with the other Mike before the other Mike joined Suicidal. Anyway, I love Suicidal, so I'm very happy to do this, but I'm also very happy to give you a little extra time to dig into it all. So we will be including all of their full-length albums, the two sort of re-recording albums, and the double EP, which is Controlled by Hatred, Feel Like Shit, Deja Vu.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so next time you see us, we'll be talking a whole lot about Suicidal, and knowing the way that our shows have been going, it's going to be a long one because there's a lot of albums and we talk a lot. So, but we'll get out of here right now because, we've said enough for 2015. As usual, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, feel free to put it in the comments, your favorite albums of 2015, because it's all a big conversation and we appreciate you joining us. And
dude, I've just realized something. Sorry, I cut you off again.
It's all right.
The crazy thing is, the same amount of time has passed that we've been doing the show between 2015 and when we started the show.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Whoa. That's math, folks. All right, as usual, we're gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna throw it over to the math magician himself.
No, I'm not.
Eddie Mathematics Sparxx. Anyway, as usual, he's the one that basically closes the door and tells everyone get the fuck out, and he does it just like this.
I tell you, 1 and 1 makes 3. Oh, I'm a later dude.